Hello, me again. I'm Nikki, a voice actor and a stage actor, and I have committed to doing the A to Z of voiceover as part of my new effort for content creation. If you've been following along, welcome back. If you haven't, I have done A for audition and B for booth. I'm now on C, and I have chosen to do C is for chain. So, being a voice artist means that you do need to understand some of the more technical aspects of producing the best quality audio that you can, especially now that it is quite uncommon to go into a studio and have those lovely sound engineers do it all for you. They will, of course, work their magic still, but the expectation is now that they will be working on much higher quality audio. So let's talk chain. In the world of voiceovers, there are actually two chains. The first is the equipment chain, starts with your voice, runs through a chain of elements that all need to link up and work well together to get your audio out. The second chain is often referred to in the post-production space. It's the chain of additions to make to the audio to have it sound the way that you want it to. Now, I'm not an audio engineer, so I'm going to leave the second chain to the experts. You can jump onto any forum and you will hear debates about plugins and chains for compression, EQ, applying bass limiters, whether to use them or not, at what level, and so on, and also in which order. Just as an aside, from my experience, I follow the process of gain check, noise reduction, EQ, de-esser, limiter, and very occasionally compression. Compression is actually really quite controversial, but I can recommend Robbo, who has a great blog about these kinds of things and has just actually done a great piece about compression, and I'm going to put a link in the video or in the comments, so whichever platform you're following along on, I would thoroughly recommend you read his piece. So I want to look at the first chain, which is your audio signal flow. So the reason that your audio signal flow is really important is that when you're troubleshooting or trying to improve things generally, a good place to start from a technical perspective is your audio chain. I found a couple of images which I thought were really good for their simplicity and kind of really explaining it if you're a visual person. And the first one that I'm going to show you is an infographic from 343 Labs. So let's look at the infographic from 343 Labs. You are the sound source, and I covered how to improve the sound source in your booth in the last video. The next piece is the microphone, then your interface, your DAW or digital audio workstation, back out to your interface and out to the monitors, speakers, and so on. So what this image misses is the cables, but I really love its simplicity. Now the next one, this is from Anthony Pika, I think that's how you say his name. He's on Twitter at AVO's Journey, and he's done this really cool infographic. It's got great flow, and it includes cables. He does miss out the headphones, which actually I suppose is kind of your monitor or your output, but I'm okay with that. It's a great infographic to get your head around. So, as you can see, each part of the chain is as important as the other. I did a remote dubbing session recently, and the engineer was having an annoying click that was coming and going. I was well hydrated, it wasn't actually coming from my voice. So the first thing I did was check the chain, including all of the cables. It actually turned out that it was my microphone cable that had chosen that exact moment to crack at a certain angle while it was actually going into the base of the microphone. Now that cable was well over 10 years old, and despite being lovingly transported everywhere with kid gloves, I think general wear and tear ruled the day. But we worked out that it wasn't any other piece of the chain. It was another sort of $30 or $40 spend on that particular cable, and everything was fixed. Your booth could have bass traps added, so you don't get as much reverb. I covered that in the last video. Or even consider that it could be your laptop that's actually in your recording space, and there might be a low hum coming from it. So just make sure that all of those elements are checked in the chain. Your mic position could be improved. My Neumann is like a high maintenance boyfriend, but the sound out of it is magic. So I persevere with mic position. I also consider how my face is actually running across the mic and things like pop shield. So your interface might give better results on the gain perhaps. I've actually just swapped back to my beloved Scarlett. I gave up on an Audient ID14 Mark II, which everyone told me was great, and I just couldn't get on board with it, and for me it had terrible headphone output. So I've gone back to the Scarlett that I've always had. And then of course there's your DAW. Now I've just moved to Pro Tools recently, and the plugin suite is absolutely amazing. But I recorded off Audacity, which is free, for many successful years. So it's personal choice again. Remember though that the chain is not just for troubleshooting. You can also start to look at improving your audio before you move into spending hours and hours and hours on the second chain of post-production. It's actually so much easier to get the best audio that you can at the highest quality right at the beginning. So that's it from me on the A to Z of VoiceOver as C for chain. Next time I'm going to be covering D for DAW, or digital audio workstation. So please follow along, join in the comments, join in the debates, and yeah, let me know what DAW you're working on and if you've swapped, and if so, why. So yeah, so see you next time.